All right, let's get started here. So first of all, we have the measure of angle 1 equals 136. What is the measure of angle 3? So this is our bell work for today. So let's get our markers ready. So we know that angle 1 is 136 degrees. Well, we also know that angle 6 then is 136. And angle 3 happens to be in a corresponding position as angle 6, as well as number 8. So angle 3 is going to be 136 also. So 136 for angle 3. Well, what about if angle 4 is 44? If angle 4 is 44 degrees, then what's the measure of angle 8? Well, it turns out that angle 8 is actually a corresponding angle to angle 3. So angle 8 is 136. And something else that you could point out, angle 8 and angle 4 are also two angles that form a straight line, and 136 plus 44 does in fact equal 180. So you can see that relationship as well. But angle 8, we've learned, is 136 degrees. All right, so here's a problem where we're talking about simplifying a radical. And if I look at these things have all been simplified as far as they can go. And it turns out that these two right here are opposite. So when we try to add them, they cancel each other out. So my final simplified radical in this case is negative 3 times the square root of 6. Okay, so now we're getting ready to take our notes for the day. So if you take a look at this first slide, we have a key for how we want that to look. And this is just basically a summary of all of the different angle relationships that we looked at yesterday. So I'm going to ask the substitute to pause the video right here and to allow you to fill out your key. So use some different colors. You can use the same colors I did if you like, or different colors, but you got to highlight the same angles so that we have listed corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles, as you can see here, vertical angles, linear pairs, and alternate interior angles. And we did not show every one of each kind of angle. We just showed you one or two of those kinds of angles that are present in this diagram. So take a few minutes and complete that right now. Find all the missing angles in this particular problem. So I like these because I can do it really quick. First of all, we're going to just kind of highlight that this is 152. So the vertical angle to that angle 4 is 152. Then a corresponding angle to this 152 would be this angle 5, so this would be 152. And a vertical angle to that would be angle 8, so that's 152. So we've found half of our angles so far. Now to find the other 4 angles, all we have to do is subtract 152 from 180. So 180 subtract 152 would be 28 degrees. So all of these other angles that you see here marked on the graph, there's angle 7 is 28, angle 6 is 28 degrees, angle 3 is 28 degrees, and angle 2 is also 28 degrees. So these angle relationships can be very powerful when you start getting the gist of how to use them. Okay, in this figure, we want to find the values of z and y. So y is right up here. So the first thing we're going to note is that we need to find z by using a relationship that actually has a number with it. So here's one. And so these two angles here are called same side interior angles. They're on the interior on the same side of the transversal, and so they have to add up to 180. So z plus 80 equals 180. Well, that just means that z has to be equal to 100, doesn't it? So z equals 100. Well, if this z then is 100 degrees, then we can set that equal to 6y minus 116. So let's do that. 6y minus 116 equals 100. And we add 116 to both sides. We get 6y equals 216. And now we just have to divide both sides by 6. So if we divide both sides by 6, we end up with 6 goes into 21 3 times. We'll have 36 left over. So 6 will go into the 6 times, or 36 6 times. So we end up with 36. So that's our value for y. All right, let's keep it going. We're going to turn our page over, try a couple more. So on this particular one, we've got some angles that we can work with here. So we know that that this angle, right, this 81 degree angle is also vertical with this angle and corresponding with this angle. So we can find z by setting this part of the problem equal to 81. So 5z minus 19 equals 81. And if we add 19 to both sides, 19 plus 18, we end up with 20. So when we divide both sides by 5, the number next to z, we get 4. We're dividing by 5. So z ends up being 4. Okay, so that's our value for z. Now we also know that we've got we're looking for x, and x and this 81 degree angle add up to 180. So if we do 180 minus 81, we will get x, and that turns out to be 99 degrees. So x here is 99 degrees. Okay, I hope you're kind of getting the idea how to work these problems. Okay, we got just a couple more. All right, so we've got these angles right here. And sometimes I like to just fill in all the missing angles. So 63 corresponds or is vertical with this one. 63 corresponds with this one. And so we know that x and 63 have to add up to 180. So if I just do 180 minus 63, I'm going to get x. And that's going to turn out to be 117. So that's what x equals, is 117. And now that I know what x equals, I can set it equal to this. So I do 117 equals 6z minus 57. Then add 57 to both sides. So that ends up being 14, 5, 6, 7. So 174 equals 6z. So now all we have to do is divide by 6. And we get our answer. So when we do that, let's grab our calculator. And we got 174 divided by 6. So z equals 29. Okay, so we got one more. If we found those two numbers, so we found x, that's 117, and z is 29. So for our last problem, we just need to find x and z. Well, first of all, we know that these two angles add up to a straight line. So that's 180. So 180 subtract 78 equals 102 degrees, right? So z is 102 degrees. All right, so now we know that straight across from each other, these two angles are vertical angles. So 78 equals 10x minus 22. So now I'm going to add 22 to both sides. And I get 10x equals 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry that 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 100. Oh, well, that makes it real easy. Divide by 10. And so I know now that x equals 10. So x was 10 and z was 102 degrees, right? So that's the kind of problems that we're going to be seeing on today's assignment. Be patient, just work them out slowly and steadily, and you'll be just fine. So our assignment is going to be number 57, parallel lines, day 2. So remember to show your work. Thank you very much.